Alright, so not sure if you guys removed the power steering fluid reservoir from it, but I went ahead and did that. Here's the bracket, here's the power steering reservoir. So basically from this side, at the bottom you have this small tube, then there's this big tube, and there are these two plugs. If you orient this bracket where this middle portion is pointing up, you can go ahead and slide that right in there. At that point, you can jam the larger piece back into the larger hose right here, and this bracket lines up with the hole right here and another hole back here. Alright, so just kidding.
Just kidding.
Yeah, just kidding. You're gonna have to put the bracket on first, because the rear bolt cannot go in unless it's in there already. And then at that point, you slide the canister into the bracket, and at the same time, jab it into the larger hose, and it's hooked back on. Okay, at this point we're ready to slide this guy back in. Just very carefully going around all this stuff. Make sure not to scratch anything up. I may have to pull this. I can't really. Let's see. Okay, I think that bolt goes in there. Time to see where the other bolts go in. Alright, it's time to just feel around at this point. Try to get the other two bolts in. Which I believe I see. Is this a hole? Yep. Okay, I think that one started threading in. That one started threading in. Now I just gotta get that bottom one start threading in as well. So the bottom tube has to wrap around underneath the steering rack and plug into the other hole, which is very difficult to see. So you can see this tube is going up, and I have it plugged in. And now, from the top, we're going to have to get our open flare wrench. It's an 18 millimeter, and tighten it down. Pretty much from that angle right there. Alright, just a couple more bolts to finish tightening down. We really don't have that much space, if you guys don't remember taking this off. But it takes some time. Tightening these down has taken me about, I would say, somewhere between 10 and 15 minutes. Maybe a little less than that, to tell you the truth. But once you get them in there, especially this one and that one right there, it takes a little bit of time. There we go. That one's good and tight now. Alright, this hose that's connected to the coolant line down here. This hose, see, coming from this coolant line going all the way up here. Let's go ahead and reconnect that to the power steering reservoir right there. Let's get back underneath the car and let's take a look back at that bolt that we didn't tighten down for the steering rack, which is right there. That one needs to be torqued down to 74 foot-pounds, and then the other 2 bolts for the ABS system, they just need to be snugged down. Also from the steering rack, you'll find a connector that goes out here. It's connected to this bundle of wires, and you'll find one that fits, and you can just plug it right in. Basically what that looks like is that from this bundle of wires, and the connector looks like that. What's Anderson doing? Oh, he's driving this monster truck. Alright, so let's get those 3 bolts tightened down and this plugged back in.
Feel, go here, feel, go here, feel, go here, we monster, feel, go here, feel, go here, we go, feel, go here, feel, go here, feel, go here, feel the power.
You want to drive it, or are you just going to say feel the power?
Go for it.
I did buy a new water pump and a new thermostat and a new tensioner, which is going to go right there. Before I begin in the instructions, apparently there are 2 different types of thermostats. The one that I got is the one on the left that uses this type of gasket, because this part is removable, and I have removed it a couple of times already by accident. So that goes over that, and then it plugs in basically right there. So we're going to use the existing thermostat bolts through the gasket and hand tighten them down before we do anything else. Also, fun fact, looking at the old water pump, I see that it used the old type of gasket, or different type of gasket. So reason why I need this one, I got to take out these 2 bolts so I can tighten down the new tensioner on there. Alright, let's get this new tensioner on here and just basically hand tighten these bolts in there as well. The thermostat housing should be torqued down to 11 foot-pounds. And it's just 2 10mm bolts. There it is. There that is. Check one more time. Yep, good to go. The accessory belt tensioner needs to be torqued down with 37 foot-pounds, starting with the lower bolt first. This is the lower bolt closest to the thermostat. So I'll tighten both of them down, and then I'll snug the lower bolt first. There we go, they're both good. There's that. And there's that one. Just to double check one more time. Good. Good. Alright, time to put it back in. Alright, let's begin this process, which I have a feeling is going to be pretty painful. So, the reason being is because I also have to position all the gaskets underneath all this stuff. Okay, that's gonna go in position first, something like that. Okay, so I'm glad it sits there by itself. Alrighty. Next, I'm gonna try to slide this gasket over here. I may need a second pair of hands for this, but I'm gonna put one of these bolts in first so that it hooks on properly. Alright, so I'm just gonna push that bolt in. just so I can have this gasket on. I'll hold on to both of these bolts. And try to get them to go in. Good, there it is. Went in. Let's see if I can get this bottom bolt in as well. Yep. All three are good. Not gonna tighten them down yet because I still got the other side. There we go. The other side. Remove it ever so slightly. And I'm gonna take a look back here. And try to thread this bolt through the gasket. Alright. And I think I got it. Disconnect it just a little bit more. Try to get the second bolt to go through the bottom gasket, which is probably going to be a little bit more of a pain. Well, actually, never mind. Went through. I'll have to go in from the side and look at it a little bit more carefully, shine the light, but you get the picture of what's happening. Next, we'll torque these down first to 11 foot-pounds. I like to go one on one side, the other one on the other side. There's that one. Let's do this one. 4. 5. 6. So now that we have them all torqued down to 11 foot-pounds, we're going to do a second pass at 22 foot-pounds. Okay, so just finished torquing these down to 22 foot-pounds. Now we're going to go ahead and reconnect some of these hoses. This long one goes all the way from the back, connect it into that, connect this one into here. The other two that are coming from the radiator, I believe, we're going to get to the thermostat and right there. Let's just take a closer look at those two hoses. So you can see this one goes from this bottom, plugs it right there, and then this one goes into the coolant reservoir right here. Last thing that I'm going to do today is remove the oxygen sensors, which are 7/8 from the old headers. So here's the passenger one. I'm about to do the, actually this is the driver's side one. I'm going to do the passenger side one. Just 7/8 wrench. Hit it a couple of times with a hammer to get it loose. And then I'm going to put them into the new long tube headers over the next couple of days. But the one thing that I cannot forget is run that wire, that ground wire that I disconnected from down there back onto the frame of the car. That's pretty much it for today. Gotta go to sleep. I'm not gonna get any work done on this tomorrow, but definitely will the next day. I think honestly, I mean, there's really not much more left to do. There's a radiator, there's the fan, alternator, valve covers, coils, and a couple of those air tubes that need to be reconnected. Just make sure everything is plugged in properly. Put the fluids in and, well, spark plug wires. Cross my fingers and really hope it doesn't blow up. Okay guys, till next time. Alright, as a final note, I decided to get that wire that ground wire that attaches to the block and reconnect it right there.